Welcome to Chingos of Golf. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we are live, and what a session that we have today in our
What's
season
up?
two. Steve, how are
What's up,
you?
man?
We're
Good.
matching bros. Look
I
at
know.
that.
Look at this. I love it,
So,
man.
Steve, what you're wearing there was our first shirt a year ago,
Yeah.
and
Prototype,
now
man.
future. Today we're supposed to be getting the shipment. Excited about the shirts, but enough about the shirts. People will see it down the road. There's a lot of stuff there. Steve, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How are you doing, man? For you
Good,
and our
man.
viewers.
Good. Doing awesome, man. I was really hoping that it was gonna rain like hardcore here in South Texas, here in San Antonio. I'm still waiting. I know it's a light drizzle.
Yeah.
Supposedly there's a huge storm. Um, and I always joke around with Les is, every time she says it's gonna rain, it never does. Like there's a huge like tornado or tropical storm, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's about to rain." She loves the
Well,
rain, and then it just goes the other way.
I mean, it's like when Biyamba, everybody thought he was going to be great. I said it was
Oh,
a
he's
big deal,
great.
but he's great. He
Yes.
is a hurricane in the making. Dude,
Yeah.
talk about hurricane. One topic I want to hit on before we get, we have Sara Diaz, who we're going to be interviewing in a little bit. For those of you who do or who do not know Sara, Sara is in the world of golf and does phenomenal work there, especially around the Valero time. So we'll bring her on stage in a little bit to interview her. But before we get to that, two things. Number one, Steve, did you see what happened to Justin Timberlake?
Oh yeah, man.
He's
Hey, it happens.
Hey, I saw on TMZ, and I wish I could pop it up if we had a time here, but he's pretty. His eyes are pretty bloodshot red.
A
I
little
don't know if you saw
glazed, a
that.
little glazed over. Yeah.
Little glazed, yeah, yeah. Good luck to him. Wish him the best of luck.
Yeah.
Steve, big on golf news. Also, what I've seen, Tiger Woods, he got the recognition award, and interesting enough, since 2021, he only won 9 tours. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
So it's been
Well,
about
dude,
3 years.
you got to remember, man, injuries, some drama that happened, but he's still working at it, and he got an exception for to from actually to be able to attend all
Yeah,
wow, majors.
I
I
think it was
can't
a
find my words.
participation. I feel it's like a participation award. Hey,
What are you talking about,
Tiger,
man?
you're not as good as you used to be. Here's
Oh
here's
my
this.
God.
You can show up. You don't think so? You don't think it was a
No,
pity award? No, it's a
dude,
real award.
no, of course not. He's one of the greats, dude. I think he still has maybe about 3 more years left. I think he's gonna win one more major at
Oh
minimum.
yeah. What else do
One.
you think, Steve? What else do you think? What else do you think, man?
Well,
But
you
let me
know
tell you
what?
this.
What, dude? You asked me a
Today's
question. Let me
sponsor.
answer, dude.
No. Let's talk who's sponsoring our event today. Phenom
Okay.
Football.
Yeah.
So if anybody of you are looking for your kiddos that want to play football, July 5th, if you're in the Laredo area, go out there, go meet with Ellie, the coach, especially if it's what? Coaching, Steve? What is it? Coach?
Coaching. It's working on drills, getting faster, getting stronger. Uh, Eli Ortiz, really good guy. Me and David played football with him. He's a brother to all of us here, and this is a great opportunity for any of your kids to be able to, get to the next level. And it's exciting to see what he's doing with that camp and with all the kiddos down there.
Absolutely. And for $50, it's worth a shot to go out there for your kids to learn. 956-740-4717.
Can't even read,
All
man.
right. I get it right. Thanks,
Get it.
thanks, Ellie, and hopefully promote you and hope you get some calls out there. Steve, ready to bring on our guest for
Yes,
today? Sara
special guest
Diaz.
Sarah. Let me bring
All
her on.
right.
There we
What's
are.
going on, guys? Hi, David.
Hey,
Hi, Steve.
How are
hello.
you? Good to
Fine,
see
thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me.
2 weeks in
Yes.
the making of having you on our podcast. Thank you for finally getting on this time. We appreciate it for us and our viewers to bring somebody else, a Latina in golf. I think, in our podcast, you are the first Latina that we interview that knows golf more than Steve. Steve is my golf guru. I am not.
Not really.
I started playing in college, and I play when I don't have the kids with me. But we're eager to learn. And the reason I feel this is a great moment for you and for us, for everybody in golf. One, during the Valero, you come up in the feed as somebody really prominent in the golf field. My daughter listens to this podcast. I'm sure other Steve's daughters too.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I want to learn about you, your background, your golfing, but more importantly, how did you get to where you're at today? It seems that you do like what you do a lot. From what I see, is you love doing it. It's in a sport that we all love. So for today, I want to learn that about you, how you got in, and what's your day to day like, and all that good stuff. So sorry.
Sure. No, well, it's a pleasure to meet you guys, and thanks again for the time. So, I'm currently a commentator with PGA Tour Live ESPN Plus. So
Let's go.
you're able to see exclusive coverage of golf, right, every weekend through the ESPN Plus app. So I'm a commentator there, both in Spanish and in English. And I also work for a company called Capstone Hospitality. And what we do is we help golf clubs build their membership base. So I've been in the golf industry for a while.
Wow.
I worked for the PGA Tour. I helped my sister launch her professional career. I was her agent. I managed her schedule and all the contract negotiations. So, like you said, it's a game that we all love. You always can get better. It can be the
Or
beat,
worse.
right?
Or
The beat
worse.
test.
Or worse. Yes.
Hopefully not worse. But no, it's been certainly a very exciting road.
Well, Sarah, Terry, and so Sarah, so you speak Spanish as well. So you go
Sí.
by Sara or Sarah, or what do you like to do? Or either one. You're kind of like a
Yeah,
little bit
I
David.
go either one, pero me pueden decir Sara. You guys can call me Sara. Hablamos español, somos
Yo, sí, mira,
mexicanos.
yo hablo español like maybe a third grader. Steve, ¿hablas español o no? Mira.
No, probably.
Ay, madre
Listen,
mía.
oh, my wife's
And
probably
we
gonna
sound
kill
the
me for this.
same.
Look,
That's so funny.
I understand it very well. You put me on the spot, it's gonna go all
Híjole,
over the place.
me
I
duele
can
el
have a
corazón.
conversation in public with you, like over here, but then you start correcting me. I'll be like, okay, you know what? No, never
A
mind.
few words here and
A few
there.
words, yeah.
Yes, but you can call me Sara. My close friends and family call me Sara. Then I'll say Sarah in English as well. So I go by both.
Yeah. So Sarah, like it's easy for me to do English and Spanish, but it's hard for me to stick to one.
To one.
I think
Yeah.
so. Like avocado. We're from Laredo. Es aguacate.
Uh-huh.
Like when you're Mexican. But here, one, my wife doesn't speak Spanish, but like I just got used to just for it to be natural. Aguacate.
Aguacate.
Or
Well,
avocado. Sorry, avocado. Or if Rodriguez comes on, I'll say Rodriguez. But it just the English is easier and the Spanish sometimes is hard. But I don't know. I can flip flop either way. But
Well, my house is Spanglish. I was born in San Diego, but I grew up in Mexico. So for the first 12 years of my life, I was in Mexico. Spanish is my first language. But I've been in the US for so long now. And I learned English just going to middle
wow.
school here, like truly not knowing anything, carrying my Spanish English dictionary and communicating with hands. So I really didn't know any English. And then I just picked it up. But my father's from California. He grew up there. I have a mom who's from Mexico. And so now I think, it's very similar to your situation in that we just speak whatever comes first.
Yeah.
Keep in mind. But I'll tell you when it's broadcast, and it can be a little bit difficult because you have to train your brain to only think about, one language at a
One
time.
language. Right. And if you
I
switch
can't do
it,
that.
no, you'll freak some people out. Like I remember
Yeah.
I was with some coworkers a couple nights ago, and we're at a Mexican restaurant, and I said tortillas, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, say that again," because it's like tortilla. You rolled, and I was like, and it just came out and then it kind of curves things to a different conversation. But absolutely, I think when you're broadcasting, don't you have to be clear? Also, you have to be very like.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, very careful with like how clarity I think is important. And if you speak Spanglish, I feel you give up some of that clarity for some reason.
Right.
It just might be me, but I think I
Well,
don't know. Yeah.
yes, no, and it's interesting because in Spanish we use some English words for the golf game, right? We'll
Mhm.
use fairways, greens. The very interesting one that I find is up and down, right? Whenever you're getting an up and down, it means that you're chipping it and then putting it for par. So
Mhm.
we use in English up and down, but in Spanish, they can use approach y pot. Right. So
Oh my
there's
Oh
a
wow.
lot of
goodness.
phrases that, they're, like I said, we use the English language to be describing something in golf in Spanish. So that's one. The other one is the pronunciation of players' names, right? I get used to saying, for example, like Tony Finau, right? But my Spanish commentators, my colleagues will say Tony Finau. right?
Mm.
So the
Oh wow.
accent is a little bit different. Emiliano Grillo, I say it like that whenever I'm doing the English broadcast because it's in Spanish, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that you have to get used to when you're broadcasting, as well as reading in English and being able to say it in Spanish because our notes are all in English.
If I'm interviewing somebody or I'm watching or hearing somebody interview somebody else and I hear a Spanish word, I feel like I'm gonna I would I saw the new
It comes
movie
out.
Inside. I saw the new movie Inside Out too, and I don't know if Sarah you have kids or not, but by the way, it's a great movie. But anxiety comes out, and I feel like sometimes when I'm trying to speak, and then I get caught up, like and like that anxiety thing, like I don't even know,
Right.
and I just go to English because I think that's like my to-go to sometimes. So
Well,
California, San Diego,
yeah.
right?
Yes, San Diego. I was only there for, I was only there for a little bit, and then I went to Chihuahua. So I'm from the north of
Wow.
Mexico.
Nice. I've been
Yes.
to Chihuahua a couple times. I think
Yes.
for a wedding. Yeah.
You have, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well,
And then
you're not gonna know everything about my life. Yes, I've been there, dude.
I care. I mean, I
Have you,
want
bro?
to, but
Have you? Yes, dude.
and then
Yes.
San Antonio's been home for you for how long since you moved over? And
Well, actually, I was here middle school and high school, and then I left. I went to play golf for Texas A&M University Commerce, and then I transferred to University of Richmond. So I obtained a full golf scholarship.
wow, good for you.
And the best part was that my last year of playing college golf, I played it with my sister as my teammate. So can you imagine having
Nice.
your sister as your
What a
teammate? You're
dream.
playing golf.
That's a great experience.
Oh, it was a blast, traveling together to tournaments, helping each other with our swings. We had the same coach, my father. So I went away, and then after that, I was in Virginia for about 5 years. And then I went and worked for the PGA Tour for 4 years in Jacksonville, Florida. So I was actually away from San Antonio for I don't know how long, like 12 years.
12 years, yeah, I was at 15, 12.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
and then I just recently came back. So a year ago. I've been living in
Wow.
San Antonio for a year, and I love it.
Welcome back. Yeah.
Is the
Thank
family
you.
close by then? Are they close
Yes,
by here as
my
well?
parents are here, my siblings are here, HEB is here,
HEB.
great golf courses are here,
No Kroger's.
and the Hispanic community. Yeah, I feel at home.
So no,
sir,
wait, go ahead, Steve.
dude, let me ask a question here, man.
Well, I was about to
Here.
ask a
All
question.
excited.
I was about to try to get deep, Steve, but go. Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say, for, especially I have two daughters. They love playing sports. I'm really trying to get them into golf. At what age did you actually start playing? And was it just, something that came very easy to you, or did you really, really have to start working at when you started playing?
I would highly, highly recommend for both of your daughters to go into the sport, because I do think that is a sport that in the long term can give you a lot of benefits, and I'm
Yeah.
not talking just about scholarship, but now I have friends my age who are desperately trying to learn, because every charity event or every, corporate event revolves around the sport. So I would highly recommend it. I started playing when I was around 12, 13. I probably
Okay.
didn't seriously started playing until maybe a year later after that. And it all started with the first tee of San Antonio. The first tee is actually a youth program that is, I was going to say nationwide, but it's actually worldwide, and it
Mhm.
teaches life skills through the game of golf. So my dad randomly came across that program, and he
Nice.
really enjoyed it because it taught the values that were being taught at home. So my siblings and I have a brother and a sister. We all joined the first tee, and that's really how it started. The first tee, it's great because, or back then, I don't know how it's structured now, but it wasn't just golf. We would also play other games. We had a great community there. They would teach you essay writing. They would have you speak in front of the classroom. And then the big, big prize that they had were the national events.
Mhm.
One of the national events, actually, I have the flag right here, was at Pebble Beach. And so there's an event called Pure Insurance Championship, which is a PGA Tour sanctioned event. It's part of the PGA Champions Tour. where a professional player gets to play with a junior. And this was at Pebble Beach. It's one of the best courses of the United States, one of the most beautiful places that you can
Yeah.
imagine. And if you qualified back then, you had to go qualify. I went to Kansas and tried to qualify there. I went to New Hampshire to try to qualify there. And then I finally made it, and I got to play with legendary Tom Watson, and it
Oh wow.
my life.
Insane.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
It was truly a magical week, not only because Pebble Beach has breathtaking views, it has dramatic cliffs
Oh
on,
yeah.
in the fairways. It has the horizon of the Pacific Ocean. I mean, it is truly, truly beautiful. And I got to play it in a tournament setting. So the golf course is dressed with the grandstands. You guys have seen Valero Texas
Oh
Open.
yeah.
There's a buzz, right? Like you feel the energy
Yeah.
of
The atmosphere alone.
feel
Yeah.
the energy of the tournament. And so my dad, I was able to take my dad with me, and we were already excited to just go to Pebble and be able to compete in this tournament. And then I get paired up with Tom Watson, which he's an 8-time major champion. He was famously known for chipping it in on the 17th green, next to the 17th green, to be able to have a chance to beat Jack Nicklaus at the 1982 US Open, right? So here's a man who's showing me how he played the course, that year when he beat the great Jack Nicklaus. And so to be able to play with Tom Watson was incredible. The man was so patient. He made me feel like I was the star of the show, where, when he's the player. I got interviewed by Golf Channel. I was only 16. And then when I didn't think it could get any better, on Friday, after I played with him in our second round, he tells me, "Hey, Sarah, can you come with me to a press conference? They're going to interview me." And so I said, "Yes, of course, Mr. Watson." And so I kind of waved to my dad. I let him know what was going on. And my dad followed us along inside of the interview room. And it turns out it was a surprise press conference for me. They awarded me with an $8,000 scholarship to any college that I wanted because of the accomplishments of the first tee. So I'm telling you this whole story so you can get your girls in golf.
Oh yeah, I'm writing notes. I have everything here.
I've never seen C write notes, but he's writing notes today.
Yeah, I'm writing them today because I know that's something I eventually want to bring to them. They know I golf, and right now they're like, "Dad, you're always golfing." I'm like, "No, when's the last time I golfed?" But one of the things I have heard is that the scholarships for women who play golf, they're out there. There's so much out there that they could utilize, and a lot of it, doesn't get used a lot. And that's why I'm like, look, you have your sports to do right now, but to be able to just learn how to play, because I know as you get older, we're going to have that company that's going to say, hey, let's go out golfing, and you want to at least have that skill. It's a skill that's needed. So man, that is awesome to hear.
Stephen, the other thing, sorry, I didn't mean to step over you.
Oh, it's okay.
Please do all the time.
Yeah, everyone, it's fine. Especially David. As having David here, he's always just like, oh, let me try. Yeah,
como hablamos, right?
Yes.
Well, the other thing is, I think, as you get older, you're not able to play like basketball or these other sports, and you have a sport that you can play with literally everybody, right? Your grandma, your dad. That's something that I have with my dad and my siblings as well. Mm-hmm. My mom is the one who would, get the cooler together and get all the refreshments and everything. So she was still, be part of it. But we have that, and we can all go play together, right? So I think it has, the scholarship opportunity for jobs later on, a way to network and connect with others, and then something to do with the family. And besides all the professional athletes of all the other sports, they eventually come to golf.
Yeah. I think when I hear you talk about golf and your experience, it makes me feel like very homey. Like it's very comfortable. It seems not just the sport, but how you ended up where you are today and everything else that you're doing. I feel that a lot of people may not feel that way. I know when I play golf, I don't feel comfortable. I do feel like, everyone's looking at me. Am I saying the right words? Right now you're talking about up and down. I don't up and down.
Okay.
So I'm one of those golfers that when I'm in there, I feel I'm already at a disadvantage because of my history. I didn't get, my father didn't play golf. It's something I picked up, as I was having fun or whatever. Yes, Antonio, golf is life, but I didn't know that golf can be comfortable.
Of course,
and
yes.
I didn't know that. If there's anything, this is my takeaway.
It's comfortable, but it's always a challenge. I think no matter what level you play it in, I have a sister who's a professional golfer, and I played at a high level. It's a never-ending quest, and I think that's why so many people get addicted to it. But the best thing that you can do, and I think it happens with everything, if you're not exposed to it, if I watch lacrosse or if I watch another sport that I don't know, I can't tell you what the terminology is for, certain shots or a certain strategy. So the best thing that you can do is to watch it, because the commentators will be explaining what is going on, what shots to hit, what clubs to hit, how the wind is affecting, the shot, what the strategy is. And every course is different, right? So that's what's, the beauty about golf is that every week these players have a different challenge.
Yeah.
And that's funny because I was just speaking to David right before we got on, about the PGA Championship that was just this past weekend. I was like, hey, dude, did you watch it? Like, it was insane. Or the U.S. Open, excuse me.
Yes.
U.S. Open. Thank you.
Good. Correct them.
And David was like, dude, I don't even have time for that. I'm like, man, you have to just take a couple 30 minutes. It was so good. It was one of the most exciting.
David, if you don't have time, okay, Sundays, watch it for the last hour. Hour, if I can break it down for you how the season works, right?
Yeah.
It's January to September. Okay. January to September. There's probably, we're gonna be general here.
Yeah,
okay?
Be general at high level too.
To be able to simplify it.
Yes.
There's golf every weekend. Okay. It's the FedEx Cup race. So that's what it is. And it culminates at the very end with the FedEx Cup playoffs. Okay. So every week the players are trying to earn points to be able to make it to the three events, the three
at the end of September. The 3 events are in September.
Correct.
Okay, so every week
August,
they're
September.
hustling. Yeah. They're okay. Okay.
So at the end of the playoffs, the winner gets $25 million. Okay.
In September? Are we still playoffs? Okay.
It's I think it's middle September,
so
but there's
there's
3 playoffs. So if you get enough points, then you go to the first playoff event. And then if you make it, you go to the second tournament and then the third tournament.
The tournament. Right? Oh, wow.
That's what it's called, the FedEx Cup. That's a regular season. Okay. Season. In the regular season, there's also 4 majors.
Okay.
You've got the Masters, you've got the PGA Championship, you've got the US Open, and the one that's coming up is the Open, the British Open.
Okay.
So a fun fact is that these 4 tournaments are not organized by the PGA Tour, but you do have points. They do count towards the season.
Okay.
So the Masters is put on by Augusta. The PGA Championship is put on by the PGA. Okay. The US Open is put on by the USGA, and the Open is put on by the RNA. Okay. So 4 different organizations, very important golf tournaments. But besides those, you have about 39 tournaments throughout the year that count towards the playoffs.
And those 39 tournaments are, the more you know, those 39 tournaments are every week happening. So
weekend.
Like you said, weekend. So every Sunday, if I get on, you said an hour. What's the time that I get on usually?
Between 3 and San Antonio is between 3 to 6 Central Time. Now it depends. If they play in California, right, it's going to be a little bit earlier. So it depends, but between 3 to 6, I would say, if you watch the last 2 hours. And I would say to watch the 2 hours, because what happens is you can see who's leading and what happens. And what if they, they draw it or they hook it or they go into the water? What is their reaction going to be? How are they going to be able to handle the pressure, right? So those 2 hours on Sunday is what you need to watch, because every tournament starts Thursday. So it's Thursday, Friday. There's usually a cut, right? The best players go on to play Saturdays and Sundays. If you don't make the cut, you go home without a paycheck. You make
no money.
Okay.
No money, no honey.
No money. So Saturday and Sunday, that's the players that are going to be earning, the paycheck, basically.
The paycheck, yeah.
Wow.
David, you need to watch Full Swing on Netflix, man. Please,
Okay,
but that's your homework, man. Because this is great to hear from Sarah.
So Tiger Woods, this is important because I just saw news of Tiger Woods. He got an award, and maybe you can explain this. But Tiger Woods got like an award for being recognized that allows them to be part of X, Y, and Z. Where did he fit in these 9 months? Like, what's that mean?
That's a great question. So we're gonna dive in a little bit more. Okay. So these 39 events that I told you about, right? Yeah. Not including the majors. Okay. The 39 regular, we'll call them the regular season.
You said something Express, FedEx Express, right?
FedEx Cup.
No. FedEx Cup. Okay. Hey, good enough. Okay. That.
So, David, the tournaments are named after the sponsors. Okay. So that's why it's Valero Texas Open. Valero is your sponsor. Okay.
Okay.
FedEx Cup, FedEx is the sponsor of the playoffs.
Okay.
But, in these 39 events this year, because they change it every year a little bit. It's been changing in the golf world. But there's 8 signature events. Okay. Signature events, they have more FedEx Cup points. Okay.
So there's points for this.
Some of them don't have a cut. Okay. So these were meant, this is something new. So 8 signature events. So what was happening is that for these events, every tournament has an exemption. Okay. They can allow players to compete in the tournament. It can be because the sponsor asked them to do so. The tournament, there's a lot of rules as to who gets to play these tournaments. Okay. So what was happening was that Tiger Woods was always getting an exemption to these events. Okay. Which meant that other players, couldn't play. It was taking up a spot of somebody else. And so what happened?
That might be better than him. That might be better than him. Potential. Okay. All right.
But I mean, everybody still wants to see Tiger, right?
Tiger, right.
Brings viewers, so many people, and Steve was talking about how his goal was to watch Tiger Woods live, so everybody still wants to see him. So what ended up happening was that Tiger Woods got an exemption to these tournaments, so that the other exemptions could be left for other players.
Okay. So they made a special thing just for Tiger Woods to be an exemption of an exemption to come in.
To have an exemption.
To have an exemption. So you'll always be invited to come in basically these things because he's Tiger Woods.
It's like winning the Masters. Every time if you win the Masters, you're always invited back. My understanding.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, every tournament, is a little bit different. Like if you win on the PGA Tour, you have a 2-year exemption. So you get to keep your card for 2 years. But then after that, David, like if you don't make it, every year they're competing. These players are competing to play in the following year, right? So it's never truly promised until except if you're having a wonderful season, right? You're going to be able to come back. So that's what's tough. Like you could be playing at a very high level. And then if you don't play well, then the next year you have to start from scratch.
Sara, you need to write a book. And I would buy the book for $5.
If you need to sponsor the book.
You can watch us. You can watch us on PGA Live. Yes.
You had a really good point about watching for the commentators and for the broadcasting. And I agree with you. Like, I think that's a good point is if just hearing it, yes, you might not pick everything up, but just hearing it is good enough. I do have one question and a half. I know we're going to come up to the mark. And I don't know how to phrase it other than you've really told a good story of like how you ended up where you're at here, especially the piece of being 12 years in Mexico, back and forth. I've always heard of golf being a good old boy sport, right? Like, I think of the waste management, and that reminds me of my frat days back in the day,
Settle down, man. Settle down.
Man, I felt 22 again, but, and I see you in your Instagrams and in your social medias and your posts and everything. You have a very good polished, respectful look of what you're doing in golf. And I mean that well, Sara. I
Thank
really
you.
feel like you really exemplify really good. If you were to make a career and you're not doing other things, and you're not, there's always all these models and people that are doing some of their stuff. You're not doing that. You're doing like the right, cool way of doing it. But how does it fit in being a Latina in this field? And really, I kind of want to throw that in there because one, we're all Latinos, obviously. You're in San Antonio, it's great, but I want to get your perspective on kind of, how is that approach? And I'm sure it's helped you in so many ways. And I'm sure there's times you're thinking, well, shoot, would it be otherwise? And so kind of give you perspective. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking here for.
Yeah, David, I think for me, it's always been a plus because I can communicate in both languages.
Mm-hmm.
And it's opened the doors to different projects because I can do that. I'm not only bilingual, but I'm bicultural, which I think allows me to enjoy both worlds. So honestly, for me, it's been a plus, and there are opportunities like the first tee that, back when I was in the program, it was extremely affordable.
Yeah.
I didn't pay. I wasn't in the AJGA tournaments. I wasn't in all these other tournaments that people were competing in. My father's my coach. It was also my sister's coach. And we were able to get to a pretty high level with the way that we did it. I think we did it
Right.
maybe a little bit different than what most people would think. But yeah, no, it's been a wonderful ride. It is a beautiful sport. You learn so much about yourself and about others, and it connects you to people that you would never thought you would.
You'd have thought 100%. Yeah,
like
I agree with you on that.
I've met Canelo, I've met Charles Barkley, I've met, NBA stars, I've met so many people because they all love golf, right?
Yeah.
And they all are so, like I mentioned earlier, addicted to it because nobody truly knows how to be, an excellent golfer every day. There's certainly people that have the talent and do this for a living, but once you really get down to it and once you start playing, it just opens your mind to physics, to anatomy, to science, to
that's really good. Y qué gracias que no vives con Puff Daddy. You know what I mean? For those, it's good people that are playing the game that are just trying. I think that's the good thing about golf. Steve, I know you're dying to say something.
Of course, it's your question, the longest question ever. You asked for Sarah. Sorry. No, I just wanted to. You had said earlier that your sister plays professionally. Did I get that right? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Any shout outs so we could kind of look her up?
Her name is Elsa Diaz. Elsa Diaz, like Frozen. I'm sure.
Okay.
Elsa.
Nice.
Wow. And like I said, I've caddied for her before. I helped her, kickstart her career, and she has a beautiful swing. She's very athletic, very coordinated. Nice. She's been playing in the Monday Qs and mini tours, and the dream is to get to the LPGA. So on the women's side, you've got the LPGA, which is the top tour, and then you've got the Epson, and then you've got the mini tours, right? Mm-hmm. So think of it like, minor league, and then all the other baseball teams that are underneath that, which is like PGA Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, and then PGA Americas, which is the, Latin America, Canada, all of those. So there's different levels in golf. It's extremely difficult. It is a grind, between traveling and sponsors and, trying to understand your schedule and keeping your body healthy and also putting in the hours to try to, perfect your swing, study golf courses. It's a lot. But like I said, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. So, okay. Last question here from Antonio. So real question here is there a chance that we can still make the PGA Tour?
That we can still make
I think us at this age, is it still possible or no? Yeah.
Dream,
Anything's possible. Yeah.
If you put your mind
to it. And the words of Elsa Diaz, let it go, Antonio. It's done, man.
But I'll tell you what, like if you are shooting in the hundreds, and then you get to the 90s, and then you're able to play in the 80s and then 70s. It is the most empowering feeling.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, you will never stop talking about your round,
Wow.
So
Breaking 100 is huge. Breaking 100 for me was, I was like, let's go. And then now I'm in the 90s, and then I'm trying to get
see,
lower as the best. Yeah.
Puro pedo, Sara. Puro pedo. No. Sure, buddy. Sure. Now,
Where's
Sara,
the
what do
golf?
you shoot?
Where
Are
am
you in the 80s? Are you in the
no,
70s?
I can shoot, close to scratch.
Let's
So
go.
Wow.
yes,
So,
yeah. So
can you
I'm
explain
always
to
working
David
on
what
my game
scratch
too.
is?
What's that?
I'm sorry. Can you explain to David what scratch is?
Yes.
Because he doesn't
So
know
For
that
the
either.
for the listeners, not for me, for the listeners.
yeah, sure. Sorry. So in an 18-hole golf course, every hole has a score. There's shorter holes, there's longer holes, but they vary from a par 3, par 4, par 5. Par 3
Mhm.
being the shorter distance holes, and par 5 being the longer. So if you add all of those scores up, right, it's usually 72. So if you're a scratch golfer, it means that you shoot
Wow.
72. Right? It's what a pro golfer should be making, but honestly,
Right.
the pros are shooting, 66,
6. Yeah.
67, 68. So, obviously
So you're
depending.
close to being a pro.
And I can give you a good score, if we were to
Wow,
go
good for
right now,
you.
I can say confidently that I can shoot in the 70s.
Yeah.
But man, no, I mean, not compared to the women that are playing right now, but like you guys, I'm always dreaming too. So I'm always
We still have a chance, man. We still have a chance.
We go to the San Pedro nightclub, and for the
Let's-
9 holes, the night golf, and we
that
scored
was the
65
first.
in first
You know,
time.
that's where I played my first tournament ever.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. The
Wow.
9-hole
Shout out.
course.
Yeah. And it's still, I think it's still iconic, and it's still there, and it's fun at night. We put a little light bulb. So we just
Well,
good time.
it's become a great place to go hit, balls, and the bar's right there, and there's a lot of energy. But it's turned around. Certainly, it wasn't like that before.
Right. They put a lot of
Yeah.
work into it.
Yes,
I
they
remember
do an
that.
excellent job.
Yes. Now, are you in what part of San Antonio do you live in? Because I'm over here, Alamorant, SeaWorld area, and
Yeah.
I just found out a couple months ago Oak Valley it's a par 3 course as well. So I'm always thinking, man, if they had another par 3 closer up here, it would have been
Yes.
phenomenal.
Well, I've never played there at Oak Valley. I'm like you guys. I go to the Alamo Trail golf courses too, but I live closer to Canyon Springs. So that's another one that I go to often.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll have to go play.
Yes,
we
for
will.
sure, Sara. So this is not, I really appreciate you coming on. I know we said that we were going to do a good 30 minutes for 7 minutes over. I think we could spend another 35 minutes learning about you and not just
and
you,
everything.
but like the golf, the background.
Sarah, real quick, David, before we let you go, Sarah, do you coach at all? Like, do you give any lessons, or is it basically, just like...
I have coached before. I have given lessons before, but the only thing is that I prefer to work on my game so much more. And the time that I have is so valuable to me that I want to go play, and I want to go compete, and I want to work on my stuff, right? So a lot of people ask me for lessons, and it just has to be certainly like worth my time, because otherwise I'll want to go play the time that I have, my free time.
Right.
And I want to spend it. But I, on the side, just to give you guys a fun fact about me, I do teach Zumba for fun. So I'll always do that.
We got to do a class, David. We got to do a
$10
class.
an hour.
It's way, it's way easier to teach people how to move, how to dance. Versus, like, golf is harder. Golf is definitely harder, but my father actually does teach lessons. He's taught pros before. So when I go broadcast, I travel to Florida. So I go Wednesday through Sunday, through Monday. Actually, I come back. So then you don't have that much time, but yeah, I'll always be working on my game. If it's worth it, then maybe I'll give it.
It's worth it.
I'll think about it.
Awesome.
Right,
well, thanks, Sarah. Again, I appreciate that.
100%.
What can we look forward to seeing you? What's coming up for you
What's
before we let
coming
you
down
go?
the pike?
Yeah. So next week I'll be broadcasting the Rocket Mortgage Classic, and it's going to be in Espanol. Okay. So if you guys download the ESPN Plus app, you guys will see us there. And then the following week after that, the John Deere. Yeah,
Yeah.
please. John Deere and the 3M as well. What's happening is we are increasing the amount of streams that we have in Spanish. So just to give you guys a little bit of insight, in the United States, you really can't watch golf in Spanish, right? The only way to
No.
really watch golf in Spanish is if you're in Mexico or Spain or Latin America. I mean, I guess you could find a way. I don't know,
Yeah.
but you really can. And so PGA Tour Live has been providing these special streams that happen in Spanish. So you have coaches, former professional golfers, myself, and then some very, great course reporters as well. Johnny Sutcliffe. We're going to have Hernan Rey, who is the coach of several professional golfers. We're going to have some people from ESPN. So it's going to be I think a great broadcast, and you do learn so much just from hearing us talk, and we'll also joke and give you, fun stories about the players and about the golf course, because every tournament is unique, right? Just like Valero has a different golf course, a different history. And I think it's so cool once you get to see the whole season and how each tournament is different and what each player has to face every weekend.
So if there's a hole in one, do they go goal? Or no? No, I only watch it. They'll do that.
Well, here's the thing. It happens. It doesn't happen that often, David.
Yeah.
But
I know.
Yes.
Well, it's been a very good pleasure, and I really want to honor your time, and I really would like to stay longer with you, but it's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Podcast.
This is awesome.
That was more than awesome. I think people learned something for the first time.
Yeah, I know I did a lot more, and I know for sure we're gonna have to play this recording again, David, so you could write down all the notes that Sarah just taught you.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you guys as well. I do post on my Instagram, and I explain golf sometimes like 101 so that people, when they do watch it, they understand a little bit more. So you can find me. My name is Sara Diaz 178 on Instagram. And yeah, feel free to tell me who you're rooting for, because I love when I'm watching the tournament, David. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and if I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to do so.
Sara Diaz, muchas gracias. Que Dios te bendiga.
Muchas
gracias. Thank you for coming, okay? Te cuidas, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Sarah.
Take care, Sara. Steve, what a wonderful interview, man.
That's energy to the max right there, man. Huh? Yeah, dude, you learned something. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for our kids, I didn't see the recording of what that name of that event was, right?
First tee.
Yeah. Take your kids out there, they could play. See, I always thought about you taking them, but honestly, hopefully she
let somebody else do it, man.
It used to be cheaper. Maybe when she was doing it, it was $20, but now maybe hopefully it's not $500 with the way that the economy is. But actually, let's look it up, Steve. What is first tee? What's the price on that? Hold on, before we hang up here.
Yeah.
I really want to get this first tee thing.
Well, while you do that, man, we had some of our good friends listening to the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with where's he at? Andy. Crash
Andy.
Course. That's Andy Torres from Nothing OB.
Mr. Torres, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. 77. That's why I call him, man.
Yeah.
He shoots a 77, yeah. He also put this, man. You don't ever say frat, say fraternity. Get it right, bro.
That is true.
That's messed up.
That was really disrespectful of me, yeah.
Yeah. Good friend of mine. You know what, Coach John, really good friend of mine. Can we talk about how broken Olympic golf section? Oh, wow. Well, we'll get into that maybe next episode.
Yeah. Who do we need to talk to for that? Is there like an equivalent of Sara Diaz? No.
Oh, we could just probably talk to Sarah one more time. I think I'll get her back on the show for this. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we got to buy her pizza next time or something, man. But Steve finally gets
get out of here.
Hey, Victor, dude, if I let Steve speak, man, you would hang up, man. You know?
Oh, yeah. Steve. Bring all the energy, David.
Sure, bring all the energy. It was too much energy, but it was fun. Steve, it was wonderful, though, man. I did look at first tee here, and
what's up, T?
Price. Hey, Papa. Steve, we have another podcast to go to, so let's take a little break, and then we're going to go
hold on. I'm not ready to get off, man. We got like 8 minutes.
Why do you go get a beer, man? Drink some water and get to me. I learned a lot from Sara. Too much. Like, one, I didn't know there was
overstimulated, man. What happened?
Over golf stimulated. I didn't know there was 39 weeks. Now I know why. Actually, now I know why when I sit on a Sunday and watch YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. I see golf on Sunday
Yeah,
most of the
dude.
time.
And they have like 4 screens that you can watch at once, man.
Steve, even if I Google, give me the breakdown of golf season, I don't think I will learn it as good as how she explained
What's
it. 39 weeks
Yeah, of
for this,
course.
for that. Like you can't go. I mean, you can read that. Good luck. But for
But
someone to explain it to you, that's better, you know?
yeah.
So
No, dude, my homework to you, please, man, just take some time and play it in
please.
the background, dude. Play it in the background. I'm not asking you to sit there for like, yes, 2 hours is great. If you can find 2 hours of on a Sunday when it's not pandemonium, I'm with you there too, man. But play it in the background. Try to get a little bit more info in on it, dude, and even watch that Netflix series when you instead of watching whatever you watch. Dude. I
I don't
don't know
watch
what you want.
anything. I work and raise
Oh,
kids, man. But hey, and then we do this stuff, which is fun. Oh
yeah.
man, what a show it was today,
It was
Steve.
awesome. It was a
Hopefully,
great, fun-filled show, man. A lot of energy. Love the knowledge coming from Sarah. It was a great experience. And again, guys, go ahead and follow her. And
well,
it's something to really utilize. And hopefully we'll get her back soon again if we keep doing this live podcast.
and don't
What are you
forget,
doing
July 5th, if you want to sign up your kid for some football and you're
in
in the Laredo
Laredo?
area, back in the Divine Mercy Park, hit up our best friends, Ellie. This number's right there, 956-740-4717. Make your kid a champions are made here.
That's right.
So that's right, man. Ellie's a
All
good
right,
old
man.
friend of ours. Be there.
Good friend of ours.
It was a
Quarterback.
good episode.
Yeah, man.
Steve, thank you for coordinating. Thank you you do a lot, Steve. People just see us
You
come
too,
out
man.
here, but you
I
had
like it.
some stuff. These podcasts not easy to put together, and
Yeah.
and
Is that the new shirt that we got that you're wearing?
yeah, man. Hey, yeah. Thanks for asking. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
new
Okay.
shirts. It's stretch
Oh,
material that people have been asking for. Look at that. It stretches.
super
It
stretchy.
has no flap. It's just open here. Yeah, it is
That's good.
the San Antonio
Don't stand like
210.
that, dude.
Huh? Does that look
Don't stand
all
like that.
But anyways, besides our
All right.
shirts, man, it's been fun. And
It's been good. So
off we
yeah,
go
get
with the
some, drink some
Golferos.
water, get a beer, dude, and then guys,
Dude,
we're about to jump on. We're gonna be guests of Los Goferos podcast. You can catch them on Instagram as well. We interviewed them last week. Was it last week or the week before?
yeah, 2 weeks
And
ago. Yeah.
yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's a great group of guys out of
There's a
California.
logo right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna be jumping onto that in a
They're
bit.
from
So
San Diego too, right? Were they from San Diego as well?
yeah, I think
Same
from
from
San
South.
Diego as
Yeah,
well.
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. All these
Um,
golfers from California taking over Texas, man. What's
get
going
out of
on?
here, man. Get out of here. We
No,
spoke
I'm
to
just
two
kidding.
people. But
All right, it's been fun,
yeah, we'll
Steve.
see you guys in a bit. And great show, man.
Yeah, great show. Y'all take care. God bless you all. Bye bye.
Later.